Hey, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and I actually played, debatably, the very first MMO titled Meridian 59. I have 1 hour on record for this game, so it's really just a first impressions, but it left me impressed, and I kind of wanted to just talk about it. Now, I actually have my full gameplay first impression, which I collaborated with Oxid on, and we played it kind of co-op through. It was very interesting. Yeah, we almost died in some sewers by some weird alligator monster things. Giant spiders were chasing us down, and we had to actually work together, puzzle our way through the introduction. And I don't know, I feel like I played this game for much longer than an hour just for how thick that adventure was. And this is all coming from the first graphical, real-time, massively multiplayer online game that released back in 1996 and is now today free to play. So if you're interested in playing, I definitely give it a recommend, but if you're not convinced yet, I don't know, I'm just gonna say some stuff and things and what it means for the genre as a whole moving forward. Okay, so first things first, Meridian 59 is old. I mean, it's really old, and it's designed like it's old. That means mechanically, it just isn't modern, just to be silly about it. So yeah, some screenshots and maybe some footage you might see on the internet make it seem like, almost like it's Doom, but like medieval, fantasy. No, it's, if a game was remade, in this image, but like mechanically like the OG Doom, I think that would actually be viral. I think it would have maybe like a small niche following, worst case scenario. I think it would actually be legitimately fun. I would love to make that attempt myself. But Meridian 59 has the weirdest, clunkiest UI, like many, like the original EverQuest and many old style MMORPGs or just online games. Not even online, just RPGs. They just were clunky. I don't know if you guys ever played like the original Elder Scrolls titles, but a lot of games just kind of didn't know how to use mouse and keyboard, and that actually goes even for the original Doom game. So yeah, I think it's really coming from Quake and moving forward from that era is when people started to realize how to use keyboard and mouse. But Meridian 59, I'm gonna tell you, it is clunky. Very much so. But it is not really the graphics that I have a problem with. Again, I kind of actually found it a little charming. Some things are a little weird and wonky here and there, but it's not as strange as like classic RuneScape. No, I think it actually all made a little bit of sense, and especially in some dungeons and being chased by monsters, I guess the pixel art or the roughness of the graphics kind of made it a little bit more horrifying, which is actually a trend we do see with PlayStation 1 style era, and like this harsh pixel art graphics for horror games, indie horror games coming out, and otherwise, a lot of action games are actually incorporating these sort of graphics. Even Valheim even has like this weird low poly pixel art sort of texture graphics, and it gives it this really interesting flair. So Meridian 59 actually is, I don't know, it kind of holds up a little bit in terms of its raw 3D space. But in saying 3D, a lot of it is 2D assets. The monsters are all 2D in a 3D space, but I don't know, it is interesting. Now, it's not going to be Dark Souls in terms of mechanics or anything like that, and I only did play for an hour, so I don't know how complex the magic system gets or how crazy the monsters get, but for the most part, I do think it's mostly going to be tank and spank, and that is the way it is. But then again, modern MMO are also just like that, regardless if seemingly they have skill shots and stuff like that. It doesn't matter most of the time. So if you played this game kind of like a more hardcore dungeon crawler and played it cooperatively, yeah, I think it could be really awesome. Now, though that is specifically co-op, I can't say too much about the MMO nature of the game. Not many people play this, and I doubt 100 people are going to jump in it and jam to it. But if you do get a friend and you are interested in the history of MMOs, Meridian 59 really wasn't that much of a slog, if at all. A little confusing, like where to go. It doesn't seem like the world design is very intuitive, but as a weird, mysterious, and obscure, esoteric, strange fantasy world that you kind of get dropped into, it can be kind of fun. And if you play it a little bit like a horror game, I don't know, kind of interesting. I can say there at least was a singular one puzzle, okay? I didn't mention one puzzle did require 2 players. And that's kind of a big deal. Okay, someone needed to lower, both of the little levers to open a door. So, like, I don't know if you could run between them really quick and then run through the door, but it made it much easier with 2 players. So, at least one mechanic was like, hey, it helps if you have multiple players. So yeah, that's pretty, that's something, you know. Well, I can only think of RuneScape. Like what, RuneScape has a quest that requires 2 players and then now not even. So it's kind of rare that that happens. And I think it happened more so back in the day, and it doesn't get more back in the day than Meridian 59. And just kind of a tangent, actually, if we want to talk about that, I think some keyboard warriors probably already said, no, this game was the first MMO or whatever. Meridian 59 is kind of publicly, widely known as the first 3D graphical real-time MMO, and for me, personally, that is my definition of MMO. I do not consider MUDs as MMOs, I don't consider turn-based games as MMOs, and it needs to be, you know, proper real-time in a real virtual world with a massive number of players. Meridian 59 actually used to cost a ton of money back in the day, apparently, but now it's free, so that's pretty awesome. So whether you actually get more than an hour's worth of gameplay out of this or not, I don't know, but that 1 hour will, I think, educate you quite well, and I think entertain. So a couple of things that I really did like, actually, was the mystery. I guess I played this game after Dark Souls. If you guys haven't played Dark Souls, maybe you don't understand the weird, vague, you know, nothing gets really told to you, how is the world created kind of feel. But this game, the whole game kind of feels like a maze, and you really do got to be in the mindset to play that. It could just be a detriment, it could just be something like that's bad world design, maybe, but at the same time, I did like running through the sewers and it being hard to navigate and actually having to map out, because as you discover things, you have to actually figure out where to go and what to do, and there was a sense of discovery, and I'm sure, you know, being an old MMO, I could look up stuff, but going in blind for this game was genuinely really fun, and it was cool to actually talk with my collaborator Oxid about like, where should we go, what should we do, oh my god, an alligator's chasing me, I need help, I need backup, and I don't know, it was just kind of really interesting. And I think that we're at a point in time where games are so old that maybe we can go back and appreciate them without people kind of dissecting their meta or what have you, because that's going to happen. You know, a lot of these guides and things that exist for Meridian or older games, yeah, they're older games, but they actually haven't been combed over by millions of eyeballs. It's just a few niche people making these guides. But nowadays, like, you know, with classic World of Warcraft, when they relaunched that, totally different experience. Totally different experience, because we have more players, it's popular, and it's something that's been relaunched, and so everyone is looking at those guides and everyone is playing in a certain way. But because Meridian is not popular right now, and because Meridian is old, then that means that the ecosystem or the economy of the game and how people run through it and play through it, which it's going to be mostly played co-op, actually changes how it feels and how it vibes. And, you know, you're not going to be waiting like an hour to kill Hogger or whatever because everyone, you know, rushed to it, is running to endgame, and, you know, that changes the flow. You got to really think of the meta of the game. But because now suddenly it's best played not as an MMO, but as a co-op dungeon crawler, and because it's meant to be played slower, and it's meant to be played with a sense of discovery, yeah, you could look up guides. There's not that many. Not many people are gonna really shove that in your face either. You now kind of are allowed to play at your own pace. And it's something a lot of people have been complaining about with modern MMOs, is you're not allowed to play at your own pace, which is actually, that's why I started the Adventure Game Party Club, and it was actually Meridian 59 that inspired me to do that, because I had so much fun playing at my own pace with a friend. It was just a completely different experience, and it reminded me of playing MMOs for the very first time. You know, the sense of magic and mystery of playing RuneScape blew my freaking mind, or when I was leveling up in World of Warcraft Classic, you know, for the first time, the original. And so that is why I really hyper recommend this game, and I cannot wait to play more niche or older titles and really give them a shot. Even if there are some rough around the edges mechanics, I think some of these older games actually genuinely have some unique vibes or feels, or even now, because they are older and smaller and not as popular, maybe a new story to tell that hasn't been heard before, and I am ready to be a part of that epic. Or something cheesy like that, you know? But that's kind of the feeling that I got from Meridian 59. There are big monsters that'll chase you down. You will die, and it will be clunky, but I think it actually kind of adds a little bit. Now, in final closing thoughts, what can I learn from Meridian 59? I think I've already said it, but basically, I legitimately think that a game that kind of looks like Meridian 59, or more like Doom, and played like Doom, like if Doom was like an MMO and then had like magic and maces and stuff like that, swords and sorcery, yeah, then I think that it would legit be a cool fucking game to play. I think people do like this art style. I think playing it like a dungeon crawler was really great, and I actually just I think I want to go back and play some older RPGs, and I think I want to play some older MMOs for sure, and maybe we'll do it for the Adventure Game Party Club. We'll all play together and see what happens. But yeah, as an MMO, no, it's not really massive anymore. But then again, maybe it was never really best designed for that. And if you actually, just a little history lesson, a lot of games that are now known as MMOs actually started like, they couldn't hold that many people per server, and they were super expensive, incredibly unpopular even when they launched, and then they had a heyday, and then they made news, and then they kind of broke records, and then they kind of, well, I don't know, went to sleep, and other games kind of came in front of them. Ultima, EverQuest, World of Warcraft, obviously, and RuneScape, stuff like that. But these games still have something special to say, so give them a shot if you say you're a fan of MMOs. I don't know about all old MMOs, but the OG MMO, Meridian 59, definitely has something to teach you. So, anyways, that is my first impressions. I hope you guys had fun. Much love. I'll see you in the next one.